Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today I sound so congested. We were at my in-laws for Thanksgiving and stuff, and for some reason anytime we go to their house, both my husband and I get so congested. My husband is normally worse, but I'm pretty bad this time. So we are back home now, but while we were there we were helping with some of the sorting. They're having like a big coat drive there because it gets really cold there, and they're the ones who suffered majorly from that crazy hurricane. They're up in what was it, Western North Carolina, and so we were helping with like the coat drive, but we're doing it in this huge like old kind of rundown gymnasium, and I don't think that helped with the allergies because I was doing mostly fine until that day, and then my face like literally swelled as I was in there helping to sort coats and stuff, and I was like, oh, I think I'm allergic to like, you know, the dust and the mildew in here. So I'm just like trying my best. Trying my best. And it's just the weather's changed a lot here as well, so my body is trying to catch up. But after I do this intro, I'm planning to go take a Zyrtec. I just woke up, but I was like, a Zyrtec and then maybe go take a little nap. And then I have to go to the library today. I don't know why I'm telling you everything I need to do in this intro. Anyway, it's December. I've already finished this book, but this is the November 2024 book club pick. This one is something. I'm gonna automatically go into this warning. Okay, if you liked this book, don't watch this video. Don't do it. Don't watch this video. I was the one who picked this one. It was me. I am the problem in this video. And it was not good. I want you guys to have a great December. If you enjoyed this, do not continue. Just don't do it. You're not gonna want to hear what I have to say. So anyway, this is our book club pick for November 2024. This is following our main character, Kierce. I'm glad I listened to the audiobook though, because I do know how to pronounce things for once. This is following our main character, Kierce, who is like the sneakiest of sneaky girls, and she is a thief, and she has been hired to steal something, and this is a world where monsters are a reality, and humans and monsters don't necessarily get along. And that's kind of it. That's kind of it. I thought it was something else. That was also my fault. So I went into this thinking this was like monster hunting. It's not. It's not. But it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which we will talk about in the video. But yeah, this is one of the many Red Tower books that have been released with the pretty edges and the pretty things going on. And you know what? Just because it's pretty doesn't mean it's good. That's what I'm getting to. I bought all these Red Tower books, and I am having buyer's remorse. I'm having major buyer's remorse. So anyway, that's pretty much it going into this video. This is a full spoiler vlog. If you have not watched a Lazy Book Club video before, this is full spoilers. We talk about them. This one definitely has way less spoilers. This turns out to be more of like a rant review. It has significantly less spoilers than usual, but there's still a lot in there. So how the book club normally works is this is a full spoiler vlog. We talk about all the spoilers. There's less spoilers in this one than usual, but it's still a full spoiler vlog, and we talk about how we feel about it, answer some questions, etc. It's a Lazy Book Club because there is no live as of currently. That may change in the future, but as of right now, it's kind of just read at your own pace, read at your own will. The video will go up. You can watch it now, you can watch it later, you can watch it years from now. I'm still getting people commenting on videos like 2 years ago. I guess last year. Did we do the book club 2 years ago? At least last year. People are still commenting about it. So I don't know how this works. And this was our November pick. December, before we get into this, make sure to subscribe because there will be a video out for you guys in December. But like I said, we don't have a book in December. December is going to be our relax month. But I told you guys have homework. I want you guys to finish one of your series that you've been putting off, especially one that like you've been like really putting off. That I feel like that would be the best and most productive thing is find that one series that all the books are out for and just finish it, and that way it is off your plate. You accomplish something difficult in 2024. That's what I'm doing. I'm planning to finish a couple of series, and that vlog will come out probably towards the end of December. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Hopefully it goes better than this video. But anyway, make sure you subscribe. Definitely make sure to leave comments down below at the end of the video. And let's get right into the spoiler vlog for the Wren in the Holly Library. It's time for our first check-in of the book. The early check-in that we always do, and the check-in that I really don't want to do for this video. I am about 50 pages in. I think I'm exactly 50 pages in. I'm about to start chapter 9. And I think if you love this book, you should not continue watching this. I'm just gonna give you that warning right now. I'm hoping it changes. I'm hoping I start liking this better in the book. But my expectations for this book right now are in the crawl space of my current house because I do not have a basement. I despise this. I do not like this at all, and I feel so bad that I picked it. I feel so bad that I picked this book. Because this is definitely going to be one of those books that people are either going to really like or it's not going to work for them, like, at all. Because this is way more urban fantasy than I thought it was going to be, and I am not the biggest fan of urban fantasy. The only urban fantasy books that I've enjoyed are Bride, and it really didn't focus on the urban fantasy side of things, and this is, like, super urban fantasy. And These Violent Delights probably is definitely urban fantasy. It also does, These Violent Delights, I shouldn't like that book. I shouldn't like that book at all. This definitely feels like it's trying something to do with that, but none of it is working. The things that worked in These Violent Delights is just not working for me in this book. I generally also just don't like gangs in books. I just don't find it super entertaining. And again, the only one it's ever worked for that I can think of is These Violent Delights. Oh, I also liked Immortal Longings, which I would classify as like, it's almost sci-fi though. Like, it's like urban sci-fi, which is totally different. That is like dystopian feeling. That's way different. So actually I wouldn't count that one. I just feel like it started off so bad. Like, I actually really liked the first chapter. The first chapter where she's breaking into this house and she has to steal something and it's like super easy. I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And up until she meets the monster in the house, I was actually enjoying it, which I think it was only like 5 pages. But the second she meets the monster, what was his name? Graves? Which also, absolutely not. The second she meets him and he just like info dumps everything on her at one time, and we get info dumped by Kierce as well, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, this author doesn't know how to write. This is why I told you, if you enjoy this book, don't watch this. But I was so just like sitting there like flabbergasted about how this author chose to give you information. Like, what? Like, we immediately are introduced, I'm pretty sure, to the romantic interest, right? I feel like that's pretty obvious he's gonna be the romantic interest. It's like a Beauty and Beast retelling, right? So that, again, makes sense. But we were introduced to him way too early. Like, what is going on? There's, like, no tension now. You're like, oh, yeah, that's him. And it was within the first 5 pages. And then him, like, explaining, oh, there might be magic in the world. And it's like, duh, there's monsters everywhere. And Kierce is like, oh my god, magic! And it's like, girl, there are vampires, werewolves, you name it, literally everything. You really think there's not magic? Does that make any sense as like a plot and as a world building thing? That makes absolutely no sense. And her already, like, him already revealing to her that she has magic within the first 10 pages is just insane. It is insane how this book started. It's like this author wrote the scenes that she wanted to write with no world building surrounding it. It is absolutely bizarre how this was written at the beginning of it. And because it lost me so early, when we were introduced to like new characters, I immediately was like, I literally don't care. Like, I literally don't care. I'm going to finish this book because I want to DNF it. Like, if I was not reading it for this book club, I would DNF it. But I am going to finish it. I refuse to DNF another book, and this is super easy to read. It's not like it's difficult concepts. I know everything that's going on. This isn't unbearable. The writing is acceptable. It's just not good. But yeah, I think, where am I? Oh, so we met Jen and Ethan, who are her roommates at the brothel house, and they were just attacked for unknown reasons by one of the gangs called the Druids, and they were being protected normally by the Roulettes, who Ethan is dating one of them. And it's just so much information that I don't need 50 pages into a book. It actually felt very similar to, speaking of urban fantasy, felt very similar to Crescent City, the first Crescent City, where you're literally just dumped so much information. But at least Crescent City is like written well. Arguably, that is an arguable statement. This is just not written well. Like, at least like that gives me so much information I can go back and be like, oh, this makes sense now, this makes sense now, this opens up with, oh, you might have magic, and magic isn't real even though there's monsters in the world, and none of this makes sense, and oh, this is crazy. I'm not making any sense. Because I'm so annoyed. But anyway, we run away from the brothel because we were getting attacked by druids, and apparently our main girl can do everything. Like, she is that bitch. She can fight. She's got magic apparently when no one else has magic. They formed a connection with the monster. I'm so tired. Like, this has me exhausted already. So we ran away, and now I think we are in this like other place, like where she grew up, 5 something. I don't remember what it's called. And she is talking to this guy, Nate, and we really don't know anything about Nate other than I think they grew up together. And she has some secret ex-girlfriend. I'm assuming she's dead. She probably died in some horrific accident or gang war type of thing, and it's just very cryptic, and I, again, just don't care. I'm really glad I have the audiobook. They were having a sale. They're having a huge sale right now. It's Cyber Monday. Audible is having a crazy sale, so I was able to pick this up for like $3. I just don't want to read this, but I'm gonna probably finish this today. I'm gonna make it my sole purpose, read this entire book today, because I don't like it. Like, I just want it over with, and I need to start on Illumicrate Part 2 because it is December 2nd. It is my wedding anniversary actually today. It's actually really funny. I'm going to be reading something I hate on my wedding anniversary, but whatever. Okay, we're at a bit of a weird angle for this little update, but I don't have that much to update on the book. But yeah, we're at this angle because I'm about to start Illumicrate Part 2, which is super exciting because I'm really enjoying doing this series so far. I feel so productive. But speaking of productive, let's quickly talk about my update on the Run of the Holly Library. I can't tell you really what's happened since the last time I read. Okay, it looks like I was listening to it, so I did lose track of where I was, but I am about at chapter 18, I think, so about 112 pages read, and there's nothing that frustrates me more than lazy science. Like, it's a personal thing because I am in the science field, so when if you're gonna bring up science, if you're gonna really bring it up, you better explain it or come up with some ludicrous way of explaining it. I don't even care if the science is correct. I want it to basically be correct, but like, obviously it's not gonna be correct if you're talking about werewolf mutations and stuff like that, but at least know semi what you're talking about, because like this is bringing up how she's going to the doctor to get tested for like a gene for being a warlock or whatever, and it's my biggest pet peeve where they're like, I don't really know how it works, and it's like, why bring it up then? Like, why? It was totally unnecessary. Like, it didn't even need to happen. You could just say, oh, it's in the blood. So all she really needed to say was, they're gonna sequence my genome and see if there's any anomalies. That is literally it. That's all you needed to know. Like, but instead she was like, they're gonna do something and something, and I don't really know anything about it. That is such lazy science writing. It's like, you want to include science in it, but you have no idea what you're talking about, so you won't even bother researchy like basics, like basic things. The other thing that I'm super struggling with this book is I just don't like it. Number one, I don't like it. I don't like the plot. I don't like anything that's going on. I don't like the gang stuff. I don't really like anything. And it's obvious that Graves and Kierce are going to be like the romantic interests, but the way that it's reading is Kierce and her friends, Jen and Ethan, all read like they're 16, 17 years old to me, and Graves reads like he's 30. So I'm just like getting such an ick from what is probably going to be the romance. Possibly an unpopular opinion, I think I would have liked the book better if Graves wasn't even in the picture, or he was clearly like an old man and not the romantic interest, and she was going to end up with Tara, is it Tora? Who we know has been kidnapped now by some gang group or whatever, what is it, First Men or Righteous Men, something like that. I think that would have been better. I think that is more interesting, where we're talking about her, and because we're constantly bringing up the ex-girlfriend. I feel like she should be the romance then. Like, your point, like your mission in this should be going to rescue her while you're doing this side job for Graves, an old man who is not the romantic interest. And when you get to her, there's like tension and stuff because you were fighting before she got kidnapped, and I feel like that would have made a better story. Is Kirsten, is it Tora? Is that what her name is? I'll correct it next time I come back. But we're just in like the middle of this like sparring match, and those are normally like my favorite things. Like, I love them. I am a sucker for sparring matches. Sorry, there's a roll of tissue paper behind me because my husband and I just went to my in-laws, and for some reason we're like both allergic to their house. And so we were both like snotting and it's gross and congested. So we carry on toilet paper and tissues everywhere we go because we've run out of tissues. That's how many we've gone through. So anyway, yeah, they're having a sparring match and I could not care less. I so despise this book. I so don't like it. I'm so sad. I can't believe I have 2 copies of this book. I'm so mad. There's nothing that this book can do to save what's happening. I just don't like it. There's literally nothing that can happen that will make me enjoy this book because I could not care less. And once I don't care, that's like the nail in the coffin. Like if I still care, but like I'm kind of bored or I'm not enjoying the characters, but I'm still like in the story, I'm still actively reading, there's a chance. There's not a chance anymore. Like I am just going through the motions of reading this book. There is no active learning or active listening at this point. I finished the book. And I am going to offer another warning. I'm going to offer another warning. If you love this book, do not watch the rest of this video. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't watch the rest of this video. I gave it a 1 star. It is probably one of my least favorite books I've read this year. I despised it. I actually despised this book. So there's my rating. That's what I think about it. Don't continue if you like this book because this is gonna be a rant review. That's what this is turning into. And I don't want any hurt feelings with this one because I know there's a lot of people who like this. Yeah, I don't want to hurt your feelings with this, but it's gonna happen. Like we're getting into that. So let's get into the rant review. This was garbage. Like this was literal garbage. I am so angry that I picked this book. I literally can't believe how this got published. I don't understand. This wasted my time. I was listening to it by the end at 3.5 speed just to get through it. I've never done that before. I think the highest I've ever listened to was like a 2.3. And it was while listening to a Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires because that narrator speaks very, very slowly. So it sounded normal speed for that book. But this one, oh my gosh, I had so many problems with this. And I have 2 copies of this. This breaks my heart because they're both beautiful. I literally was sitting here looking at this cover and thinking about literally ripping it off. Like I was literally thinking about taking this off and doing something with it, but I was like, I can't bastardize the book like that because other people like it and other people may want it. I don't. I really hated this book. Okay, let me try to collect my thoughts because I did take a ton of notes towards the end because the ending is what really drove it home for me. Most of this book was just horribly boring. It was horribly boring and it had no purpose and no sense of direction. It would randomly go off in different directions and there was underutilized characters that were just thrown into the storyline for no reason except for when it was like needed for them to be in the plot. Like there was no buildup of their characters. They were just kind of thrown in there for necessity's sake. And I hate that. And then I absolutely thought the main character, Kierce, was fine. She was fine. She reads pretty young compared to what I feel like she should read like. So she reads pretty young and she had absolutely no chemistry at all with Graves. Again, still hate the name. And again, he reads like he's 30 years old. Like he reads so much older than her. And zero chemistry. I like her better with Lorcan until the end, and then I was just like, this is also stupid what you did with his character. I don't like her really with anybody, let's be real. And then the whole Tora storyline was utterly pointless. Maybe it's important for a future book, but there was literally no point. Like, she bitched and moaned about her ex-girlfriend who doesn't even really like anymore. They were about to break up, about her being kidnapped, and that's all she focused on for like most of the book. And then finally we save her, and she just like walks off into the night, and it's like, what was the point? Like literally, what was the point of this character? There was zero point to that entire storyline. That could have been completely cut out and would not have changed the story one single bit. Trying to see some other things. I thought it was the writing was fine. I don't think it was actually bad. It was just boring. It was really boring. And it was less the writing style. Like the writing style was fine. It was just, it's like the author was focused way too much on the Beauty and the Beast kind of a backbone to the story, that she didn't want to stray from that, and that led to just really poor plotting because it just didn't work with this storyline. Like it did not work whatsoever. Let's see. It was definitely more lust over love in this. I did appreciate that there wasn't a ton of sex in this. I thought there was going to be a lot worse, but it was probably, I would say it was like a 2 or a 3 spice level. There was 2 sex scenes and that's it. So I was happy about that, but even with only that amount of spice in it, it still felt like lust and not love. Like I never bought that they were in love with each other. No chemistry. Oh, her power being like a magic eater. I thought that was really dumb. Like I've seen that in books before and it can be really interesting, but the way that the magic was done in this book was so beyond bizarre and didn't really make any sense. Again, the idea that for half the book, magic, people didn't even know magic existed when there's monsters and creatures and things in this world. And by the end of the book, it's like accepted by everybody that magic is a real thing. So like, which is it? Which is it? Like, is it real? Or does everyone think it's real or not? Like, it was so all over the place with that. Then stealing, being a thief, thievery, replenishes her magic. That was just kind of thrown in there. It wasn't brought up again, but that was thrown in there, and I was sitting there going, what crack were you smoking when you wrote that as part of the magic system? It's so bizarre. It is so bizarre. Let's see. Yeah, the magic in the world make absolutely no sense. Incredibly boring. I did fall asleep twice while reading the book. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I fell asleep twice. What's the point of Lorcan? Like Lorcan, so obviously there's a point eventually, but like he just comes out of nowhere in this story. And by the end of the book, like he disappears again. Like he totally disappears. And at the end of the book, he shows back up again as a god. The Oak King. Where did all this shit come from? Like, where did this all come from? We have the Oak King and the Holly King, and she's a wisp. We'll get to that. What? Like, what is all of this random stuff that is coming up at the end of this book? Like, it's so weird. Like, what? Like, it's like the author didn't know what she wanted to do for 90% of the book, and was like, oh, this would be really cool to make everybody fae, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this magic, and this, and this, and then shoved it all in there with 10% left. Like, when she had the realization, she's like, oh, he's the Holly King. I'm like, did I miss something? Should this be like a moment? I feel like I missed something. I had to have missed something during the boring phase. It must have just like went right over my head. Because I feel like that was supposed to be a moment that was like, oh, betrayal. Oh my gosh. And then the same thing with Lorcan when she was like, you're the Oak King. I feel like I should have been like, oh no, kind of. And I was just like, cool. Like, who are these people? Like, I don't know who these people are. And then it did feel like a shitty Twilight ACOTAR crossover at some points. Lorcan and Graves both felt like Tamlin. They both felt like Tamlin. There was no Reese in the storyline. They both felt like Tamlin, and then Graves definitely had a bit of Edward. Like, the fact that he was always wearing gloves and, like, didn't want to touch her because he would read them, but he can't read her. It was so Edward-coded. Like, oh my gosh, it was painful. So it just felt like a Tamlin-Edward crossover, which nobody wanted. Nobody was asking for that. A lot of buzzwords were used, and basically every type of trope was used, and I said to avoid relying on actually writing a plot or a good book. I was so mad when I was writing this. We had forced proximity, dark, unknown, but powerful main lead male character, not like other girls, like super not like other girls. Oh my god, not like other girls. There was like heists in it, there's monsters, but no actual monster hunting. I thought it was gonna be a monster hunting book. I was led down. I was let down by that. Fake enemies to lovers, like it's saying it's enemies to lovers, but they're not ever actually enemies. It's one of those, oh, it's enemies to lovers, but it's not really, it's fake. And then my power doesn't work on you. Again, the Twilight thing, there's so many. They use so many tropes. It was painful. Just pick like one or two. Don't throw all of them in there. Save some for book 2, which I will not be reading, by the way. Okay, here's some of my other notes. I have never read the word ass more in a book. Like, there was a point that we hit, and then it was like, he grabbed my ass. He did this ass, 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 ass. And I was like, oh my God. The word is stopping making sense in my brain. That's how many times this is it being said in this book. So it was way too many ass. Too much ass. Oh, this line killed me. This line actually killed me. He's a monster, but he's my monster. Stop. Stop immediately. Do not pass go. Do not collect your $200. Straight to writing jail. Just immediately straight to writing jail. I don't want to hear a line like that unless it is in a parody book. If it's in a comedy book and it's making fun of a character, it's a lovesick character who's just being obnoxious and you're supposed to dislike them or think they're being goofy, then it works. That does not work as a serious line. It just doesn't. It doesn't. It's so cheesy and goofy. And it's awful. It was absolutely awful reading that. Oh yeah, and then the miscommunication was all, again, this is what I mean by it tried to stick too close to like the Beauty and Beast thing, because there's a point where Belle has to leave the Beast to go help her dad, and he gets all pissy and blah, blah, blah. And that's what happened in this. Basically, her friend gets hurt, and she's like, I have to go help him. And he's like, like he turns into the biggest baby on the planet. Do you know what is less attractive than that? Literally nothing. Like the bar is so low. The bar is so low for how he's acting. He is actually terrible. And he did, again, reminding me a lot of Tamlin types of things. Oh yeah, I said he does not pass the vibe check. The vibes are Tam Tam. And then very child fairy tale ending where, so she's a wisp. I will say I kind of like that because at least it wasn't, oh, you're fae. Like, that's been done so many times, but like a wisp. Have you guys seen True Blood? This is a mini spoiler for True Blood, so skip if you, it's been out for so long, guys. It's been out for so long. If you haven't seen it, there's no way I feel like you don't know about this. But Sookie Stackhouse in True Blood is, at least in the TV series, I've only read some of the books, but she has like mind reading powers or whatever, and you don't know what she is, and then you finally figure out that she's fae. And so like the episode ends with them going, oh, we're fairies or something like that. And she's like, what the beep? We're fairies? Fairies? And that's what it felt like. It felt like a wisp? A wisp? Like, that cracked me. That made it so, like, True Blood handled that so perfectly, the TV series, because it's such a goofy reveal. It's such a strange reveal in that, and so they handled it in a hilarious way where it was like, okay, you know it's ridiculous. We're still gonna run with it, but you know it's ridiculous. This book didn't realize that reveal was ridiculous. They just didn't. It was very said in all seriousness. And yeah, it felt like a very child fairy tale type of ending with the friends, because Lorcan, a god, and Graves, who I think is also a god, could not save her. But her two besties, who apparently secretly have had magic this whole time and nobody knew, including themselves, are gonna join hands together and join together and, what did I say? If you believe, you can do it. And they save her. So goofy. That was such a goofy ending. Oh man, that was absolutely bizarre. Like, that was absolutely bizarre to have that as the ending. And then I did think it was really weird. All of the weird, like the random references to Celtic magic. Like I was so confused, because at first it was like, oh, this is interesting. And then it just like kept going into Celtic magic more. And I was like, huh. Is this like, was this really thought out and planned out? I don't know enough about it to say anything, but it just felt very convenient, like all that stuff thrown in there. I thought that was very, very strange. And so I think the next book, it sounds like it's going to take place in Dublin, at least for some of it. I'm not going to read it. I'm even more mad because the final like chapter actually piqued some interest. And that pisses me off because the rest of the book was so boring and aimless that if they had focused on the last chapter as being the main plot of this and cut out so much unnecessary stuff, this could have been a really, really good book. Because it ended with you finding out that there's these artifacts that are trying to go find, which is always a fun plot line, is finding artifacts and trials and that kind of stuff. And Grace gets a call about them finding the cauldron. So they're going to go find the cauldron probably in the next book. And that's so much more interesting than the weird side storyline with the ex-girlfriend, them doing like some weird training montage that didn't actually go anywhere because it was like, we're going to train you for a long time, and then like didn't. They just talked about it a lot. So there was just so many things that were talked about and just not done. If you had focused on, like, there was a small portion of the book that obviously was searching for the spear, but again, you don't find that out until later, and you don't do anything about it until later. There's like random other heists that you're doing. So it's just like, it makes my head hurt. This whole book made my head hurt, and that's all my coherent thoughts that I have. Like, that's it. That's it. This is a 1-star book. This is definitely going to be on my least favorite list of the year. Are there worse books that I read that I DNF'd? Yes. Some of those will be on that list. It's gonna be a very interesting worst list. I'm gonna piss some people off because I'm putting DNFs on that. It's not gonna be that many. It's basically, if I read a lot of it, then it can go on that list. Yeah, this is gonna be up there. This is gonna be up there. Oh man, I'm really glad we don't have a book pick for December. Like, I am incredibly happy we do not have a book pick for December because I need a break. I need to just read stuff that I want to read, although I'm in the middle of the Illumicrate vlog, but I'm allowed to DNF. This video, reading Wren in the Holly Library, has proved to me that DNFing works. DNFing works because I rarely had any 1s or 2 stars this year, and I wanted to DNF this book within 30 pages. And I was right, I should have DNF'd it, but I did not want to DNF another book for our book club pick. That just didn't seem fair, but now it's like even less fair because it's getting a 1 star. So anyway, that is everything I have for you today. Definitely make sure in December to read your series. I'm gonna have a vlog just for you guys for catching up on some series. I don't know what series I'm gonna be reading yet, but we're gonna be doing that. And I'm pretty excited about it. It's gonna be a nice little break for a month. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely let me know down in the comments down below if you liked the book, if you didn't like the book, what you would have changed, what you especially liked about it, your favorite scene, favorite characters, if you're gonna read the next book, what you're hoping to see in the next book. All the usual things. And again, I tell me that you liked it, please. I really hope I'm the only one who didn't like it. Like, I really hope everybody else loved it and had a great time, because I would hate to have another bummer book club pick. So anyway, make sure you subscribe so you miss any future content, and make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, and definitely let me know down in the comments down below all the things, and I'll see you guys in the next video.